Namaskar friends, we welcome you to this episode of Through Literary Lens. Namaskar Vinodji.
Namaskar. Once again we are here to discuss on another story.
This is by Malti Joshi. I hope you remember Malti Joshi.
She is well-known writer from Hindi literature. She has written hundreds of stories. They are really popular among common people as well as critics.
Because they relate to our family life, social life, particularly the intricate web of our social relations.
Very often she takes up a social issue and weaves a wonderful artistic story around it.
But that is without any preaching, without any essay. It is all through action and dialogue. That is her achievement.
Yeah, today we are going to look at her very famous story, Problem Child.
Problem Child. And we all of us are faced with this problem of problem child. Schools tell us in the PTM parent teacher meeting that no, your child is a problem child. At home also we feel he or she is not living up to our expectations. He is not obeying us.
Teacher-parent meeting, Rajesh, is a battleground between teacher and parent. Both are complaining to each other about the same child.
Both don't want to take up the responsibility.
Exactly. And then the story unfolds itself in a very, very interesting manner. Alok, who is the protagonist of this story, he comes back from his business tour and he does not receive very welcome homecoming by his wife.
Homecoming from his wife. His daughter is not to be seen. Gudiya is not to be seen.
And his wife simply gives a very cold response to his inquiries about their daughter.
And she says she has been torturing me. Your child has been torturing me. When the child is bad, it becomes your child. Huh?
Yes, it becomes your child.
Yeah.
And finally he notices that there are marks of being beaten on her hand and arm. And he's surprised that Gudiya has beaten her.
Yeah, she has bitten her mother. That's really surprising for Alok also. Inwardly he gets angry. What happened? What is the problem? That the child is going out of hands? What is the real issue? And where is she right now?
Exactly. He feels really embarrassed. But finally he takes her to the doctor. Of course he's not ready to go to the family doctor because he will make an inquiry that why these marks are there, who has bitten. And they cannot simply say that their own daughter has bitten her mother.
So then when the evening draws to a close, it is turning into the night. Finally, Alok feels that where is Gudiya? She should be back home by now. And even the meal, lunch is uneaten, lying on the dining table.
And then, Nirupama, Alok's wife, she reveals the truth that she has been angry with her daughter because her daughter Gudiya has scored low marks. Her progress card is really very poor, and this makes her infuriated. And not only infuriated, rather she goes a step ahead. She insults her daughter.
Humiliates her by taking away the lunch plate.
Exactly.
When she is trying to eat, when she is eating, her mother snatches the lunch from her own daughter.
Here we are now to the central issue of this story. And this is one of the central issues of modern generation, especially parents and especially mothers, young mothers. They are very ambitious about their children, about their sons and daughters. They are very disciplined.
And they micromanage. Each and every step has to be taken with their approval and by their command.
When a child has to get up, when he or she has to get ready for the school, when he or she will do the homework, how much time he or she will play on the playground, what kind of clothes he or she will wear. Everything is managed by this young mother.
And why mothers, Vinodji? People can ask why not fathers?
But it has been observed that Rajesh, you are also psychologist, I am also psychologist, and it has been our common experience that fathers are a little bit
liberal. They are lenient, they are flexible.
Of course, this is not a rule. Majority of the mothers are very strict, very disciplined, especially about the education of their children. And they are so ambitious that they want their children to score always good marks. And Nirupama is also like this young mother. And Rajesh, I want to make an appeal to all the young mothers to carefully listen to this.
Not to stop listening from hands onward, otherwise they will switch it off.
Yeah, listen to this discussion. Right? It's very interesting, right? We irrationally try to establish a link between academic score of the child and amount of love that we want to give to the child. This is really dangerous. We must give affection and love unconditional to the children. Many of the mothers and fathers pretend that they give unconditional love and affection to their child, but in reality it is not like that.
Okay, molding child is another thing.
Yes.
We can mold the child. Good habits can be inculcated. Khalil Gibran has said you can give your love to the child but not your thoughts.
For example, they cannot humiliate the child like this Nirupama does. She snatches away the lunch plate from Gudiya,
And
this
then
is
she bites her.
Bites
Then
her.
Gudiya bites her.
exactly. So this is a serious issue. We cannot humiliate or insult child, or we cannot simply put them to shame before
And this
others.
is another symbolic way is that this is animalish behavior. Snatching away lunch from one person, that to your own child, and the child in turn biting the mother. We are falling to the level of animals.
And then we say that this is a problem child because she bites mother.
Yeah.
And then we take that child to the counselor, to the psychologist, and tell them that on the one hand the child has not done well at school, on the other she has become violent, like that. So we are trying to simply impose problems on the child and project that the child is a problematic child. But there's a famous saying in psychology: there are no problem children, there are only problem parents.
And this is what Malti Joshi establishes in through her story. Because see, Nirupama, her mother, is not ill-intentioned. She does not harbor malice towards her daughter. When her daughter does not return home, she is very anxious, rather over-anxious. And then when she returns, she inquires whether she has eaten or not. She says she has eaten at her friend's place, so she is again angry. Why did you eat at your friend's place? Was there no meals ready here?
And Malti Joshi really tries to contrast the present situation with the situation in the past. When the joint families were there, a lot of children were there, children used to play together, they used to play in the neighborhood without even being noticed by their parents throughout the day. And children had the liberty, and parents or grandparents, they were not excessively worried about their academics. So that
and
type
still
of
we say
environment.
that the earlier generation was more sanskari, what we call more cultured than this generation, even though now the parents are micromanaging the things. Still.
So there are two problems, Rajesh.
Yeah.
Number one, in the nuclear families, there is hardly two children. Sometimes there are only
One.
single child.
Yeah.
So because of this isolation, because of this loneliness, children tend to develop some psychological problems. And the second problem comes from the parents. Because they have either one child or two children, they want to see that their kids should emerge as super kids, and they should do well, not only in the academics, but even in the sports, in the music, in dance, in painting, everything, right? And this is something undesirable
And I think
impossible as well.
You have got it by horns, I should say. Super, the word super, which you have used it. It is this cultural product of being super, which is haunting the mothers, which is haunting even the children. I should be a superman, super mother, super father, super woman, whatever. So in this maddening race of being the super, we are really destroying ourselves and even our children.
And we are destroying the very relationship itself. We are destroying the love and affection, which should become the foundation, which should be rather the foundation of any child-parent relationship. Because without love, child-parent relationship cannot survive for long. Sometimes outwardly, many of the children take the ambitions of their parents. They also believe that this is in their interest, and they put a lot of hard work to achieve good grades in school and the college. But in the process, they simply become emotionally hard to their parents. And when these children will grow up, they won't care emotionally for their parents. And then the parents start complaining that what went wrong, how these children have been emotionally distanced from them. And they do not realize that in day-to-day interactions, when the child was small and he or she was at school, parents cared more for the academic grades and less for the emotional needs of the children. So this is very important message that unfolds itself through the narrative of
And
this story.
I believe that two main errors happen in the parent. On the one hand, parents, or particularly the mothers as we are speaking, they are critical towards their children. Each and everything they try to micromanage. And secondly, socially, they even do not let their children speak for themselves and decide for themselves. So number one, you are deciding for them, and again you are being critical of them. So in a way you are criticizing your own self. The child loses all the agency in the process.
So we should allow the necessary freedom and liberty to the child to
Even though
develop her
however
own personality.
good intentioned the mother is, when Gudiya goes to sleep, she caresses her, she kisses her, and then Alok says, had you given even the 10% of this love when she's awake, she will be a different Gudiya.
That is the takeaway from this story.
Yeah. So love is there, but in the garb of love, this micromanagement, this suffocation, as Vinod, it's mothering and smothering.
Exactly.
Only the addition of S, mother and smother. Language hides a lot of wisdom in it. So there's a crucial difference between mothering and smothering.
So
the
mother
child.
smothers
Yeah.
the child with her love and affection.
Yeah.
And there is no space for the child to breathe.
Not only the love and affection, but the kind of expectations
Exactly.
they hold from the children. If you score 1 mark less than I expect, then I will love you less. To quote Arundhati Roy's phrase in God of Small Things, I will love you less, a little less. So this is a very tricky and very treacherous thing which the parents should be guard against, particularly the mothers.
Right? So friends, you should read Malti Joshi's problem child on your own.
Because
and different-
problem child or not problem parents are there, as the adage goes, we said, because the children are yet to grow up. They are not yet conditioned. They have not yet conditioned themselves. So they will imbibe your behavior in themselves and form a self-image accordingly. So it's not that 3-year child is a problem child, 6-year, 8-year child is a problem child. No,
not at all.
not at all.
Right, and moreover, doing well at a school is not the only thing that will help you to become successful in life.
But don't you think, Vinodji, this is partly even our culture and consumerism and Western ethics is partly, American dream is partly responsible for this behavior of
Because we
parents?
try to understand the definition of success only in terms of money he or she is going to earn in his or her life.
And only we have room at the top. We don't have the rooms at the first floor, ground floor. I mean, what we mean by room at the top is that only if you succeed well on
In the school and college, only
College.
then you get good jobs and good money.
then only.
Because our education policy does not prepare average children or below average children
Yeah.
to have their space in the society. So this is really a problem.
Yeah.
And academicians, psychologists, sociologists, policymakers must put their heads together to create a room at the middle level,
Yeah.
lower middle level,
Even at the
lower
bottom.
level, even at the bottom level.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a right to live and right to live with happiness and contentment.
And even this bottom, middle and top should not be vertical arrangement. Metaphors we use are very telling. So this vertical arrangement is not, should not be. Levels should be slightly higher and lower. It should not be bottom, middle and vertical as such.
Every child must be given the opportunities to develop in the field in which he or she is the best.
Yeah.
So that has to be found out. That is the job of the teacher. That is the job of entire educational system, that we must find out the potential of the child, and accordingly we must provide the opportunities. So on this note,
I mean, I remember one of my friends said when he did not get the transfer to his hometown, Vinodji, he was
Yes.
an IAS officer, he tried for transfer, to his hometown.
yes,
He got the transfer in a nearby district, not the hometown. I said, you should be happy, congrats. He said, what is the congrats? Either one should come first or should not win at all.
exactly.
So this is the kind of attitude we harbor, and that creates all the problems.
Yes. So friends, you think over these points, and definitely thinking will help you to find out some solutions to these social and cultural issues. We'll be back with some other interesting discussion. Till that time, take care. Go on
Namaskar.
reading
Yeah.
these wonderful pieces. Thank you.